The station, Paris, late evening. You arrive at the station slowly, as if the night itself is guiding your steps, your shoes touching the stone platform that still holds a trace of the day's warmth, even as the air above it has turned cool and patient, and the great iron roof arches high overhead like a protective sky made by human hands. You breathe in, and the scent of coal smoke reaches you first, deep and earthy, mixed with the faint metallic smell of rails that have carried countless journeys before this one. And somewhere beneath it all, there is the quiet scent of damp wool coats and polished leather, of time moving forward without hurry. Steam drifts lazily across the platform, curling and unfolding in slow white clouds, rising from the waiting locomotive as if the train itself is breathing, resting before its long passage through the dark, and the steam softens the edges of everything it touches, blurring lamplight and shadows until the world feels gentler, less defined, easier to rest within. The gas lamps glow in warm shades of yellow and amber, their light steady and calm, pooling on the platform in oval shapes that seem to invite you to step inside them. And as you walk, you pass from one pool of light to the next, your shadow stretching and shrinking in a quiet rhythm that matches your breathing. The night air brushes against your face, cool but not sharp, carrying the distant sound of the city settling itself for sleep, and each sound feels softened here, as though the station absorbs urgency and replaces it with patience, with the understanding that this is a place of leaving and arriving, not rushing. You hear the low murmur of voices somewhere far behind you, indistinct and unimportant, blending into the background like the hum of the lamps themselves. And closer now, there is the gentle hiss of steam, the muted clink of metal, the sound of a great machine waiting without strain. As you move closer to the train, the Orient Express reveals itself piece by piece, dark blue and dignified, its surface catching the lamplight in subtle reflections, not shining brightly but glowing softly, as though it prefers discretion to spectacle, as though it knows it does not need to impress. You pause beside the carriage, and the warmth from the engine reaches you faintly, a comforting contrast to the night air, and you become aware of how still you feel inside, how the simple act of standing here has already begun to loosen the thoughts that followed you through the day. The platform stretches on in both directions, but your attention narrows naturally, focusing only on the door that waits for you, open and inviting, and the small set of steps that rise into a different world, one that moves gently forward while the rest of the city fades behind you. You take one last breath of the coal-scented air, feeling it fill your chest, and then leave you again. And as you place your foot on the step, you feel the shift, subtle but certain, as though the journey has already begun, not in distance, but in depth. The cabin, a private world of warmth. You step inside your cabin, and the door closes behind you with a soft, reassuring sound, sealing out the night air and replacing it with warmth, with quiet, with a sense of being held safely inside polished walls that have known many peaceful journeys. The light inside is low and golden, coming from shaded lamps that soften every surface they touch, and the first thing you notice is the wood, rich mahogany polished to a deep, gentle shine, its grain flowing in slow patterns that seem to guide your eyes downward, encouraging calm. Your fingers brush the wall as you move further in, and the wood feels smooth and cool, solid and dependable, as though it has absorbed decades of steady motion and now offers that steadiness back to you without asking anything in return. Heavy curtains frame the window, their fabric thick and dark, falling in generous folds that promise privacy and silence. And when you touch them, you feel their weight, their softness, the way they block not just light, but distraction itself. The cabin is not large, but it feels complete, carefully arranged so that nothing is excessive and nothing is missing. And this balance creates a quiet ease in your body, a subtle permission to stop scanning, to stop preparing. You sit down slowly, allowing yourself to notice the seat beneath you, upholstered in deep velvet. And as you settle into it, the fabric yields gently, supporting you without resistance. And here, time seems to slow further, as though the cabin exists slightly outside the world. The velvet is cool at first, then gradually warms beneath you, and the texture invites attention, its surface dense and soft, absorbing sound and movement alike. And as your hand rests against it, you can feel the fine direction of the fibers, how they shift under your touch and then settle again. You become aware of how the seat holds you, not stiffly, but with a patient firmness that encourages your muscles to release. And as you sink a little deeper, your shoulders lower almost without your noticing, responding instinctively to the comfort offered. The velvet does not reflect light sharply. Instead, it drinks it in, creating shadows that feel velvety themselves, and these shadows seem to wrap around you, making the space feel quieter, more enclosed, more secure. You run your fingers slowly across the armrest, noticing the contrast between the smooth polish of the wood trim and the soft resistance of the fabric. And this contrast becomes a gentle focus for your mind, a simple sensation that requires no thought, only presence. Outside the window, rain begins to fall lightly, and at first it is just a suggestion of sound, a delicate tapping that blends with the low hum of the train systems. But as you listen more closely, each drop becomes distinct, striking the glass and sliding downward in slow, wandering paths. The rain creates a rhythm that feels unplanned and soothing, irregular yet consistent. And as you watch the droplets trail downward, merging and separating, your thoughts begin to follow their movement, drifting downward as well, losing their sharp edges. The window pane remains cool beneath your fingertips, a quiet reminder of the night outside, but the glass keeps the cold at a distance, allowing you to observe without feeling exposed, and this separation deepens the sense of safety within the cabin. The sounds of the station are now far away, reduced to a faint background presence, while the interior of the cabin seems to absorb sound entirely, leaving only what is necessary, the low hush of the train, the rain, your breathing. As you sit here, surrounded by velvet, wood, and soft light, your body begins to recognize this space as a place of rest, and the small movements you make become slower, more deliberate, until even stillness feels active, full, complete. You do not need to think about the journey ahead or the distance that will be covered, because the cabin has already begun the most important work, carrying you gently away from wakefulness, toward a quieter, deeper place where motion is steady and nothing needs to be decided. The dining car, a gentle passage of warmth and light. You walk slowly toward the dining car, the narrow corridor guiding you forward with soft carpeting beneath your feet. And with each step, the sounds of the train subtly change, becoming quieter, rounder, as though the space ahead has been designed to receive sound and soften it before it can reach you. When you reach the doorway, you pause without meaning to, because the dining car opens itself to you gradually, revealing a long, graceful room bathed in amber light, where polished surfaces glow without shining, and every detail seems placed not to impress, but to reassure. You step inside, and the warmth is immediate, wrapping around you gently, carrying with it the faint, comforting aroma of broth, of herbs dissolved into heat, of something slow and nourishing that has been prepared without urgency. The Art Deco design surrounds you quietly, not sharp or demanding, but smooth and flowing, with repeating geometric patterns that guide the eye in calm, predictable paths. And these shapes seem to echo the steady motion of the train itself, forward and even, without interruption. The walls are lined with panels of polished wood and inlaid details, their surfaces catching the light just enough to reveal their craftsmanship. And as you pass your fingers near them, you sense their solidity, their permanence, the way they have absorbed years of gentle movement. Tables are set carefully along the length of the car, each one dressed in crisp white linen that falls evenly on all sides, the fabric thick and clean, its texture visible even in the low light, and the linen seems to hold the light softly, diffusing it rather than reflecting it back. Crystal glasses wait quietly at each place setting, their surfaces clear and cool, shaped with care, and when the train moves, just slightly, they give off the faintest sound, a delicate whisper of contact, like distant wind chimes heard through closed windows. You take a seat, and the chair beneath you feels steady and well-balanced, upholstered in fabric that is firm yet forgiving. encouraging you to settle rather than adjust. And once you are seated, your body understands that there is nowhere else it needs to be. The table feels solid beneath your hands, grounded and unmoving, and this stillness contrasts gently with the subtle sway of the carriage, creating a balance that feels deeply calming, motion held within stability.